I'm gonna call this video talking about life. Can you see the light? Oh man. Okay. Whew. It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a very good one. So, where to start? I want to start with the good stuff first. And I'm gonna leave some timestamps on this, but I'm gonna start with the good stuff first. Um, the good stuff is we've got as humans, we figured out water purification, uh, and electricity. Um, those are about there's other good things like, electric cars. Um, oh, what else? Vehicles, stuff like that. Um, but what's so the good stuff is we have things like, again, water purification, um, weapons to protect ourselves from wild animals, electricity, light bulbs. Those are the great things about humanity. Um, now I'm gonna try to keep digging for good things. Good things. The weird part is though, if you like Google, uh, the weird part is, like the thing like the light bulb was only in the mid 1800s, which is less than 200 years ago, and that's less than like two. That's two lifetimes. If you think a real healthy person can live for 100 years, um, so that's not that long ago. Uh, the to Before, like light bulbs, it was people just using gas, uh, and just burning stuff to have light. Um, which is a very, probably, if I had to guess, a way less healthy way to have light, because you always have smoke burning off or whatever. Um, good things, good things. Good things. We have like machines that can do a lot of things that used to have to be done, by people, like whether that's pick up crops and package crops and move crops and, uh, what else? What other machines help, traveling, like cars and stuff, and, um, help in boats, um, with engines in them, um, to help traveling. That's another good thing, uh, that is really good for humanity. Um, Again, but all that stuff is so recent. Now, obviously, I was born into a privileged family, because here I am talking on a computer. I have a car sitting out back. There's a water filtration hooked up to this building I'm living in. Um, I'm trying to think of good things. I'm thinking of the good things that humanity has invented. And I use the term invented loosely, more like learn to harness, because humans didn't technically invent electricity. Like, technically, the world invented electricity, like the earth itself, because you take a little bit of substance A and a little substance B, and you put them together, and you get electricity. Like, that's the world. The world is the maker of electricity. We just like learn to harness it. It's like what's his name that stole the lightning bolt from Zeus? That was like a time, and maybe electricity even goes that far back somehow. Uh, as far as like learning to harness um electricity. Um, but yeah, so like obviously electricity, water purification to the level that it's at, using machines to travel much faster, um, medical field advances to get rid of diseases and anti venoms. Those are like the two big things that I think of as far as like great things that humanity's learned to do in the medical field, which is fight diseases, prevent deaths from like poisoning, uh, whether it be from an animal or from a plant or allergic reactions. And being able to successfully do surgeries, like put someone under and then bring them back out, bring them back out of it. Um, those are the good things. Those are the good things. But the crazy part is some of those things are so new. All these good things are so new. And I've been privileged to grow up and my soul was born into a body that was in a family that has access to things like electricity and water purification and good homes and electricity and all these things. Like, it's crazy to when you sit there and think about like just a couple 100 years ago, there weren't light bulbs in houses. Like, that is insane to think about. Only a couple 100 years ago. That's two people ago. Like, there's a that's not that long ago. Um, so I can't help but be so thankful and so proud to be a part of the family that I am in, a part of the culture that I'm a part of. I can't help but be super happy and super proud of the people that I'm around and that I have the privilege to, when I go out on the streets, I'm just thankful to meet other. It's just wonderful to see other people walk in the streets that are enjoying the same things that I get to enjoy. Electricity, things that I think are beautiful. Electricity, and uh, again, water purification, and I keep saying the good things because I'm trying to harp on the good things. Because eventually I'm gonna go into the bad things. Um, so again, we're talking about good things that humans have you learned to harness: uh, electricity, water purification, um, machines to travel and perform duties. Uh, otherwise, that would cause um, a lot more work for humans. Um, but humans invented other good things too, uh, like the term happiness, the term love. Um, again, what's what I'm going to get into deeper into this video is unfortunately, when it comes to like human emotions, there's a lot more bad ones than there are good ones. Like, besides happiness and love, all the other emotions are probably bad. Like, when I think of happiness, it's fulfill. You feel fulfilled. You feel fulfilled. That's what I think of happiness. You're happy for someone else. You're happy for yourself. Um, Other people are supportive of you, so you feel happy. Uh, Same with love. Love and happiness go pretty close together. But every other human emotion is basically a bad one, a bad one. Whether it be greed, lust, um, wrath. Uh, I don't know all the seven deadly sins off the top of my head, but that's basically what I'm going through. But even like, what is the envy? Like I myself struggle from envy, um, for an envy of knowledge. Like, I'm envious of people that like know how to take. Like, there's people out there, and shout outs to y'all, that there's people out there that could take raw silver and a few other raw sand, and they know exactly how to turn it into a light bulb or a pair of glasses. It would take me a whole lifetime to probably try to. If you handed me some silver and some fucking sand, it would take me 1,000 tries to figure out how to fucking turn it into a pair of glasses or a contact. People out there know how to make contacts that I'm wearing right now. Thank you, whoever made these shits. Um, Made these things. I'm trying to keep this intellectual as possible, and civil as possible. But yeah, you could. I don't know how many lifetimes it would take and how many failed experiments with a Bunsen burner and a freezer. How many times I would fail, trying to make those things. So I'm envious of people that know how to do stuff like that. Obviously, I could go learn how to do those things in school, or I could, if someone has a publication out there that tells how to do it, I could read up on it and figure it out. And that's going to lead me into where I'm trying to, I'm going to go into the bad. I'm going to go into the bad stuff about this world. I've covered the good. I've covered the fact that God bless, I was born into a family that, in a society that has electricity, water purifications, machines that help us travel and complete tasks, daily tasks, have refrigerators and learn to harness chemicals, to make food last longer. All these amazing good things that we have in our society that I'm so incredibly thankful for and so proud to be a part of, in this world. It's insane. Like, I'm so thankful. I know there's somewhere, um, there's parts in the world that are still, it's crazy to say, but just, living in huts and, um, I was gonna say, on Jackass, there was an episode of Jackass not too long ago. They ran into a tribe of cannibals. Like, that's still, the guys drinking their own pee and eating dead humans. Like, it's the unbelievability that I'm able to come to you and talk to you through invisible space by use of a signal that humans learn to harness, that is the internet and computers. At this exact same time you're watching this video, having this amazing communication, there very well might be a tribe of individuals drinking their own piss, potentially eating one of their own. Uh, Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully those jackass people got those people some fucking help. Um, but yeah, it's just the dichotomy. I don't even know if that's the right definition, but the dichotomy, the the lens of the two ends of the current human spectrum, as far as like first world. Those are the terms that people use: first world to third world. Is insane. It's insane to try to even comprehend. Again, like I said, that while we're having this crazy, you're watching this conversation through a little device of an invisible energy. Oh, well, I probably not invisible. There's probably some sort of lens you can look through to see the waves of this communication. Um, but yeah, at the same time, there's some place somewhere, some person's drinking their own piss to survive, and God knows what else. Um, so I've talked about the good things again. I'm not going to keep repeating them. I think I pretty much covered it. Actually, I'll say them one more time. The good things: electricity, water purification, using machines to travel and build things for us. Um, as far as modern medicine goes, learning to fight diseases and prevent death from poisoning, whether that be from venomous animal bite or allergic reactions to things. And also in the medical field, being able to successfully perform surgeries are all amazing things that humans have learned to do and harness. It's amazing. It's awesome. And the two emotions, unfortunately, the only two emotions that I can think of that are, again, invented by humans are happiness and love. Those are the two most positive emotions that I can think of, happiness and love. Um, so we have all these amazing, great things, these amazing, good things in our society, and societies, all over the world. Um, Now we're going to get into the bad. We're going to dive into the bad now. What I'm trying to comprehend or trying to figure out in my mind is, where do you start with the bad? So I've talked about all the good things. I have to express the bad things too, because we have all these amazing things as humans in our society, and yet somehow it feels like, I'll just say, for me personally. Actually, I'll do my personal at the end. Well, all these amazing inventions and abilities of humans to harness the amazing magical aspects, miracles of this world, um, are all fairly very new. Um, Fairly new. Now, what I can't help but think is that when, and this is almost if you watch a movie like The Last Samurai or something like that. When I think of, if I think of the worst things, like I said, the best things that humans have invented, um, I won't say them again. I've said them 100 times. But when I talk about emotions, are love and happiness. When I think of the two worst emotions of humans, I think of greed and, I don't know, envy, I suppose. Greed and envy are probably the two worst. Um, and war. Well, when I think of war, the fact that that is one thing that, like, as proud as I am of the ancestors that I've had to be born into this world, this beautiful world that I have privilege to be a part of, with the electricity, water purifications, amazing machines that do damn near all the work, um, that help me communicate this to you right now. What disappoints me the most about those ancestors is, why did they have to go to war? Why did they somehow still, how did millions of people end up dying throughout the history of time over war? Is it because, um, I look at it two ways. Is it because those people that invented these things, like invented the things, the tools of war, um, vehicles, automatic weapons, electricity could also be a tool of war? Is it because those people were so greedy and so, I guess, wrathful, so um, uh, malevolent, or so just evil with their mindset, that they just wanted to take over the world and put everyone behind bars and just try to run the world that way, like with everyone just at the mercy of the inventors? So I look at it that way. I look at that, maybe that's one possibility, because the books, the history books that I've been taught, and the history I've always been taught, is never clear on it. It just says that there was war because, this group was doing, like, this group bombed this group, so this group decided we're gonna have to go to war to this. Like, I'm specifically thinking of when uh, Hawaii was bombed. But it's like, well, why did they bomb Americans? What did what did U.S. do to deserve to get bombed? Like, what was it? Why? Um, Maybe someone probably out there could tell me, like, with the book. Like, I could probably look it up. Like, why did they bomb America? I don't know. Actually, I'm gonna look it up. Fuck it. Let's see what it says. Okay, so according to Google, Japan bombed Hawaii because the the Pacific Fleet, they didn't want the U.S. Interfering with uh, the conflicts that Asia wanted to do on Europe, and so on and so forth. Um, Again, I'm not going to concern myself. It's hard to concern myself with what the books say, why people did this and that and the other. At the end of the day, I can only think that only war could only ever happen if people are being greedy, envious, or wrathful towards other people. Like, that's the only way. Like, and so I picture, I, or there is one other possibility. So I picture, like, again, like I said, I picture two ways that wars can happen, or that the wars in the past happened. And I picture them two ways: that either the people that invented things like the Gatling gun, the automobile, the light bulb, electricity, that will learn to harness electricity, either those people were greedy, envious, and wrathful, and just wanted to take over the world and murder everyone in their way that wasn't someone they could make use out of. That's the first possibility that I think of. The second possibility I think of is those people that invented those things, the light bulb, water purification, electricity, water purification, surgeries, successful surgery, stuff like that. I picture them going to societies that didn't have those things, and those societies completely rejecting, like, the amazing things. Like, a society, could you imagine, like, having a light bulb, or having a way to purify water, or having like, learning the process to successfully perform a surgery on someone, or you figure out anti-venom, and you go to a society and you're like, hey, try this out, and that society's like, no, we want our people to just keep suffering and not have clean water, and we don't want them to have electricity, or be able to take pictures of their family, like those sorts of things. like then I could see, like, you go to the leaders of the society and you try to offer them these amazing things, and then that society being like, no, like, we're not gonna let our people have nice things. And then I could see war starting that way, like, oh, like, kind of a like, why would you not want good things? Like, uh, uh, and again, that's that boils down to, I mean, is that a reason to go to war? I I mean, kind of, like, if you're like, okay, you go to the richest people of a part of a society and you say, hey, we got these cool light bulbs, we've got water purification, we've got all these things. Um, do you want them? And then they're like, yeah, we'll take them, but we don't want anyone else to have them. Just us. We want the nice stuff, and no one else. Again, that's greed. That boils into, again, I can only think of the way that wars start as people being greedy, wrathful, or envious. Um, but yeah, like, I could see some at some point, if they're like, you went to this society and they're like, we have these amazing things. And there's some horrible societies, if you think about, throughout time, all over the world, like everybody in history, white, black, Asian, um, any human race, there's been horrible times in that race's history, as far as how people were treated, the life cycles of people. Um, and there's still societies that have, including our own, that have horrible traditions, or um, things that people do that are just not good. Uh, just to name them off, like things like murders happening is not obviously a good functioning society. That um, I think of things like when they used to cut. I remember hearing they used to cut a kid's testicles off to keep the voice good. Like a boy that had a nice voice, they would cut his balls off so his voice would stay high pitched and nice. That's like, how is that? How was that ever a thing? It's crazy. You think of the Egyptians just tossing their babies into, as far as the how it's projected on the pyramids, that's tossing their babies into the rivers to be fed to the crocodiles. And you think of, like, I think of a current, like in Asia, they can only have like one kid, or one boy, or whatever it is, or one girl, whatever it is. And then that's it, and then they abort the rest. Like, that's crazy that's still a thing. You think of things like uh, incest and abortion and um, rape. Like, all these things are like horrible things that still happen today. Now, so I've mentioned all the good things about society, and I've mentioned the bad things, as far as war and bad things that humans do, a bad tool, like people making bad tools, or using tools that are good. Like, I can't say uh, an automatic weapon is bad, because if you're getting chased by a tiger, literally, unless you get lucky with a knife or lucky with a bow shot, you're gonna die. like, but with an automatic weapon, you got a pretty damn good chance against a fucking tiger. Like, when you think of predators out there in the world, things like having an automatic weapon is lets us individual, without the help of other humans, an individual can walk around the world with an automatic weapon on their side and not be scared of a pack of lions, or a tiger, or a big ass snake in a tree, a crocodile in the water. Like, before the invention of automatic weapons, you were kind of you had to have a posse with you, well, wherever you went. Otherwise, you might get jumped by a creature of nature, um, an animal, let alone other people. Um, So I talked about the good and the bad throughout history, and we still have bad. Like, that blows my mind. We still have people murdering. We still have people at war in this world. We still have people. I don't know. Again, I think about Jackass episode where they hung out with those cannibals. We potentially still have people drinking their own piss and eating other people, cannibalizing. And I think we have these things because some people, I imagine the people, and again, all this stuff is so new. The electricity, the automatic weapon, the automobiles, all these things, water purification, like good water purification. Obviously, we've had water purification for a very long time as humans, but like as good as it is now, all these things are so new. And I fear that some people that perhaps the inventors of these things, it's hard to say that the inventors of electricity were greedy, because everybody in America has electricity, and Europe, parts of the world. But I don't know if it's, when I think of like places, I know that, like I saw on YouTube, there's like an island of just people that, like, if you try to go on the island, they kill you or something like that. So I've talked about the good and the bad things that humans and the history, and how new this amazing harnessing of earth materials to give us refrigerators and electricity and automatic weapons and vehicles, like how those help society, how they help us, how those help humans, how those things help humans. But they're all so damn new, like really new. And so I just don't think that the education system and society has caught up with how amazing like these things are. And it's not the fault of really anyone. It's just the fact that machines do so much for us now that it's, I'm having trouble expressing myself here. So I've explained the good and the bad things about society, and I'm trying to explain how I think to fix it. So, I can't help but look at like the education system and the things that we value as a society. Now, if you look at, like, to me, it blows my mind that dudes that go out and play a kid's game are paid more than the person that makes your food. Like when you go to a restaurant and someone makes your food, that person makes that much money, while the guy that goes and plays with a ball makes that much. When 90% of the time, those dudes that are good with playing with the ball, they're on like drugs and shit that make them like hyperhuman, like steroids and HGH and testosterone. Like those guys somehow, those genetically altered humans, I don't know what else to call it, are scientifically altered humans, are paid more just because they are willing to take some drugs more than the guy that, or the gal that makes your food, or that picks your food, or that grows your food. Or so again, it's just, or at least that's what we're told through the media, that those people make more money. Obviously, I realize that there's farmers out there, good farmers out there, that probably some of the richest dudes in the entire world. Because of, the thing that they do. Again, all this crazy technology is so new. And if you look at like it makes sense, like before all these good inventions, it makes sense that those would have been the people that you admired. The powerful gladiators, the powerful warriors, like those would have been the people that would just take the drugs, give up their balls. Because I know, well, supposedly we've been taught this, that if you do too many drugs, eventually your testosterone shuts off and blah blah blah, and then you got to take estrogen blockers and other shit to make it kick back on. But those would have been the people, the most powerful and athletic, would have been people that, yes, give that guy the most food. He's huge. He's going to be the guy that's going to step up when the tiger attacks the village. That's going to be the guy when the bear attacks the village, when the wild dogs attack the village, when the anaconda comes out of the tree or the alligator comes out of the water. That's the guy, the big guy, like the strong. Give that guy the food. Give him all the food. Give him all the whatever, so he can be strong and be ready for when that time happens. I get that. But I just don't get it in today's society. I don't get it in today's society that we still, guys that play a kids game and are scientifically altered through steroids and all this other stuff, are the ones making more money than when you go to, even if it's McDonald's or Applebee's, that person's making significantly way less money than the person that plays a kids game a few times a year, that's making millions. And again, that could be a falsehood from the media. And again, even like the concept of money to me is a greedy concept in itself. If I'm someone that has, and was one of the, again, we have all these other inventions that are so new. The invention of money is pretty new. If I'm a person that owns a money printer and I just can go, control P and hit print and have all the fucking, I could, take a shower in money, then that's not, that's not a good thing. It's not a good thing to have. I get that that's and especially when it has so much power over individuals. Like you have to, money just has so much power over in our society. It has so much power that it just doesn't make sense. So again, I'm talking about bad stuff, and I'm saying that our society is bad and a lot of people are struggling. Like there's so many people like going through this COVID thing and businesses shutting down. Because I think in our society, we've reached like the peak of like technology, medicine, machinery. We've reached like the peak of like what we can do on this earth. We've like reached the top, and it was so recent, so recent. And like not that long ago, we didn't have these things, and we were having to live like, savages. We were having to gather up and go kill the bulls, go kill some bulls so we have some food. And people would die trying to kill the bulls. Or go kill the lions. We got to go kill some lions because they're killing us. Or we got to go kill some crocodiles because they're killing us. Like that was not that long ago. Just a couple generations ago, that's what people were having to do all over the world. Or let's take this land over because there's less predators there. So we got to take that land over so we can have less predators. But then you're dying from the elements. Or places in the world, like let's take that part of the world over because there's less people there. But then, because people become predators as well. But then it's like you're dealing with the elements. It's not, that was not that long ago where us as humans were literally fighting to survive, not from just each other, but from the elements and the other predators on this world, i.e. dangerous animals. And we humans, we had to work together. Otherwise, been killed by all the predators, predatory animals. So I look at like how new all this like technology is, and like things that help humans. They're all so new, and I just don't think society has caught up to how new and amazing all these things are. Like, so if I picture the perfect lifespan of like a current human, like I picture like, so when a kid becomes like, like things that I wish like I would have grown up learning, like when a kid starts to ask, what's that? That's what kids usually start out doing. What's a car? What does a car do? Like, I picture, so even from like little kids, I wish that like first graders through like middle schoolers, like their whole education was learning like how is a fridge made. Like I can't even, I'm 29 years old. I can't tell you how the hell a fridge is made. Like I know like it's plastic and steel and some freon, but I can't tell you how freon's made or what freon really is, what chemicals it's derived from. I can't tell you what plastic is like made, like what raw material plastic comes from. I can't tell you how whatever I think it's copper wire that's on the back of refrigerators. Like I can't tell you where that copper was dug out from and how it was molded, like what temperature it has to be melted at to get molded. Like I think that's what kids like should start learning like about really early on, instead of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or like what happens when you take 8 out of 10, 2. Like that's stuff that you could probably teach a monkey. Like this, yeah, I laugh at that because we're technically primates, monkeys. Um, but such like the such things that like, so again, I'm talking about the perfect lifespan of like a human will be starting like very early on, with first aid, like learning about first aid and what to do, if you're bit by a bug, things like that. And then immediately going into learning about how things are made, like cars, like literally getting into stuff like that. And then, like I said, learning about the medical field. Instead, we have kids learning stuff like, and I'm in college and I'm still having to take math classes that are math lessons, and I'm learning math that I'll never use in a job unless it's like, hey, we have 10,000 people to feed, and we got 10,000 acres. What do we need to grow to be able to feed 10,000 people out of 10,000 acres? That's like the only math that really matters is food math. It's really the only math that matters in the world. Food math and like metal math. Like, do we have enough metal to be able to give everyone, electricity, or everyone a refrigerator? It's like the only math that matters, yet I'm learning all this. Well, and like geometry, I guess, matters because it helps you like be able to build a house. Like you want your stuff to be at a right angle. But nowadays there's tools that do that for you. You don't have to fucking do math or whatever. Or like learning history. Like I'm having to learn history and I'm like, whoa, what is that? Like, unless it's learning the history of the refrigerator and how to make one, or the history of like the polio vaccine and how to make the polio vaccine, or the history of a light bulb, and then teaching me how to make a light bulb. Isn't it to have useless facts and dates in your mind does you zero good. It does you zero good just to have dates and names in your mind for no. It does a person no good. Literally no good for society. Me having that information and being tested on that information as if it's important to my future that's what it is. So again, going back to what I was trying to say, the perfect lifespan of a human. So we're teaching these kids like history, math, and then sports. And so these kids are like playing football, getting brain injuries early on, or boxing early on. Like, no, a kid should grow up learning, how the fuck is a fridge made? And I mean literally going to the factory. Because again, nowadays machines do so much of the stuff. Like where I imagine back in the day, you had to be, holding the damn torch and tipping it the right way so it would, form the wire that you needed. But nowadays, I imagine there's machines that do damn near all the work. But taking the kids to the fucking factory, or the guys that had to go dig the coal out themselves to make the fucking to make the gunpowder or whatever the fuck. They had to go in there themselves. Nowadays, there's machines that can do those types of things, or even like going. No, I won't go there yet. But that's what be kids. Take them to the fucking factory. See them. Let them watch how the shit works. Let them see how medicine's made and why it's made, how to make it. Like nowadays, like one thing that popped in my head is like, to take pain medication, which is just opiates, and you can't. I'm not going to go there either. But again, like why isn't there, as Americans, why aren't we given a book like, hey, this is how you make a good pain medication, or this is how you make a good antibiotic, like a book, here you go, you grow this and you grow that. So that goes back again to, like, I think that we work so many jobs that, again, like I picture so again, that's how I think that, I'll go back to I'll finish the perfect lifespan thing, and then I'll go into my next spot. Perfect lifespan, child grows up, he learns how his vehicle's made, how it works, how his refrigerator's made, how it works, learns about medicine, how it's made, how it works, and then learns sports, then gets to have fun. Like that's, you might even, kids in the future, I don't think, and then even before that, builds their own house. I think, like, I wish I'm living in a damn apartment, but I could have, if you think like 200-300 years ago, I would have been required as a human to build my own shelter. And I probably would have been taught by, someone, God willing, I would have been taught by someone that had done it before. I'd be like, yeah, I'll walk you through building this structure so you have one on your own. So I picture a society in the future where, kids have already built their own house with a damn pool in the back. They built their own refrigerator. They built their own car, and they've got it, sitting in their driveway by the time they're 18, and they got their pool in the back. And then another thing, I think that we're wasting so much time as a society, like traveling all over the place. Like, instead of, when those can be done, that could be done by like machines now. Like, machines could be bringing you your groceries, or you could be, controlling machine. Like, imagine if everyone's controlling remote control cars in the streets. You never have anyone dying. You have, like, yeah, your machine might get fucked up because someone's not paying attention to what they're doing. Their machine crashes into someone else's machine, but you're not gonna. And again, that's like some iRobot stuff, but it makes sense. Again, so going to the perfect lifespan thing, kid grows up, learns how to build their house, build and make medicine, build a refrigerator, build their own light bulbs, learns how to do those things, and then gets into where they're playing sports and, seeing who's the baddest of the bad or the best of the best, the most fit, those kind of things. That we think that are fun, that we look at as a society, that I think are fun. I think it's fun. It is insanely fun to play sports, as silly as they are. Sports are so much fun. It's a lot better than, shooting at each other. Though I guess paintball will probably be a pretty kick-ass sport in the future, I imagine. I picture it like what's the Call of Duty map? There being like a real map one day, and it's a bunch of people playing, paintball or laser tag or whatever the fuck it is. But so again, so that's covering the perfect lifespan, what I think the future, like a perfect lifespan might be in the future. And so I'm about to get into like real, like deep and like heavy instances. Like I think so I'm thinking about like this like current society, why this current society I feel like is so fucking unproductive. And maybe it's just, maybe I'm the only one that's not doing things right. Maybe I'm the only one that's being unproductive. But like I think of things like when you see guys like, you know, growing weed or in their fucking closet, or those little things. Like, I think every damn hotel, every fucking stadium in the fucking world, every sports stadium, every hotel, every fucking apartment building, every house in the entire fucking world should have a goddamn indoor garden in it, because we have UV lights, we have hydroponics, like self-watering systems. Imagine how much productive, like how much that would make the world more fruitful, how much more food, literally more food the world would have, just if everyone was doing that instead of driving to a fucking job to answer phone calls and be like, oh, sorry, your computer's not working. No, that people should be being productive within their own fucking, within their own walls. And then I think people will in the future interact through going to like amazing sports events, like huge, you know, sports events or concerts. Like, I think music and the sports and arts will always be there, but people will be so much happier, because maybe not necessarily happier, but I think more productive in the future. Like I said, if we're not wasting our time having to, you know, drive and fucking go to fucking Taco Bell, instead the fucking Taco Bell will be like, you know, here's our, you know, here's how you make Taco Bell, and then they'll make money off having to buy the right peppers. They'll have to buy the right seasonings to make that Taco Bell will still make their money. Taco Bell will still make their money because you got to go buy the seasonings and the right tortillas for their recipe, instead of fucking, you know. And you'll be within your own home, and you'll be able to grow. People will have more, like I said, just be more productive society. I feel like I waste so much fucking time. I'm 29 years old. Like I said, if, you know, in this society that I would love to see, I would have already built my own fucking house. I would already know how to fucking perform a surgery successfully. I would know how to fucking make a fridge or make a car. I don't know. And it's just, I guess that's kind of it. I'm not sure if I've missed anything. Oh, I think about things like how I can't help but I got to bring it up. Like I just want to call it the sex industry. The sex industry, like, you know, a couple hundred years. When you look at like war, it's just constant like raping of villages, or not that long ago, you know, saloons, or like just whorehouses, shit like that. Now it's like the again, you think of like the history of like sex is kind of like a fucked up, like it's a fucked up, literally, we're all, as humans, were born into a giant sex cult, because everyone came from sex. Like, so you're literally born as a human into a sex cult. But and the way I look at it, as long as you're not raping someone or forcing someone against their will to have sex, or then it's not bad. Sex can't be bad because it helps create life. Again, I think it's funny, literally, as every human's born into a sex cult, because that's how we were all made. But I think that the internet is a beautiful thing in that, and again, I guess I'm getting into my own personal stuff. I do believe in, you know, one man, one woman, or I believe, God, this is getting really into my personal feelings. Now the previous stuff that's not personal feelings. That's just facts. Every human's born into a sex cult because everyone was born from sex. But I look at things like the internet and hearing about these people having, you know, kids trapped on islands, or the amount of like, when I think of the amount of underage kids that should probably be in jail from sending nudes to each other. Like, you hear about like high schoolers sending nudes to each other. Like, that's, according to the laws, like, I'll be straight up honest. I got nudes from my girl when I was in fucking underage. Does that mean I should be in jail? No, no, absolutely not. Um, and I think of the internet and how beautiful that is, that you can see so many other people around the world and meet so many new people, that eventually you should see someone that you're like, oh, I would like to meet that person. That's how I think about the beauty of the internet. And I think of, again, things like, and it's such, again, this is such a new thing that, like, I get, like, I don't know. To me, I look at the internet and the sex industry of the internet as like the past nude beach. For some reason, when I picture old societies, I picture everyone like would gather on these beaches and just be naked. Like, long. See, personally, me, like, I'm so like kind of fed up a lot of times with how society is. If I walk down to the grocery store and there are a bunch of people walking around naked, I wouldn't give a fuck. I just be like, all right, that's their choice. Like, I don't fucking, like, would I want to call the cops on someone and be like, man, this motherfucker walking around. If he was wiping his nuts on like groceries and shit, or like scratching his balls and fucking grabbing the fucking chips and then putting them back, yeah, I might be pissed. But if he's just, minding his business and not, scratching his asshole or fucking whatever, if they're just doing their thing, I'd be like, whatever. Okay. He's not hurting me. As long as his balls ain't sweating on the fucking floor, whatever the fuck it is. See, I always come back to humor. I always try to be a little silly. But yeah, compared to rape and incest, sending a nude over the internet to try to find love, to me, is nowhere near something like rape or incest, which is, rape is forcing yourself onto someone, and incest is basically mind controlling your children or near family into believing that you have no other choices but your family, like that there's no other people out there that would even want you. Like, it's like brainwashing. Incest to me is brainwashing. Now, obviously, I'll say the flip side to that. Like, to me, incest is brainwashing, but I could see in the past, like in history, that there being such like a beautiful person, like a really beautiful woman or a really beautiful man, that the whole society was like, okay, y'all have to keep trying to make that beautiful. Like, y'all have to keep doing whatever that is. You keep mating with each other and to try to capture that beauty again. I can see like how humans could think like that in the past. Like, that's the flip side. Like, I see that, but I also see how it's brainwashing. Like, to say that you have no choice in that, like, that we've always done that because we're trying to make beautiful, that same type of beautiful, makes sense. But also, it's to say that person has no choice in that is fucked up. That's basically rape. Mind rape and eventual physical rape. Again, I think the internet's always a beautiful place to find. Will always be a beautiful place to find love, to meet new people. It's way better, like I said, than rape or incest in my mind. And the fact that people are getting in trouble over some nudes and stuff, instead of just being like teaching people, like, this is how people try to find love these days. It's through the internet. That's how people try to find love and find people that might like them, find them physically attractive enough to want to meet them and stuff. So I covered the good and the bad, how I think society should go. I covered so the sex industry. I've covered that and how it could be, better, the goods and bads of the sex industry. Again, you can't. Don't be mad about me talking about sex. You came from sex, so you can't be mad about me having opinions on it. The other thing is war. Like, I look at war and people. No one should have to die going to war these days. There's still third world countries. We should literally. You shouldn't have to kill anyone in these third world countries. You should be able to take a robot, kick down the door with the robot, shoot the individual with a dart or some sort of um, something that can, incapacitate the person, not kill the person. You should be able to, kick down the hut door with a robot, shoot the person with a non-lethal, again with the robot, and then drag the person out with a fucking robot, put them in a cell and being like, look, you're living in a world that's 1,000 years ago. Like, come to us to the future. Like, and then having people like me or, other people that are good with talking to people and, good and just bring a human up to speed. Join us in this beautiful, amazing world that we have electricity and refrigerators and all these amazing things. And trying to just, I don't know, spread the love, spread happiness, instead of people constantly going to war or shooting at each other. Like, it's just crazy to me that any American life would ever be lost fighting. It's just, like I said, a lot of times we use robots these days. We've been using robots to kill instead of just incapacitating and trapping people to try to, teach them more about love and happiness and being a part of this society. But again, I can get where I don't know. Again, I don't know why people go to war. Again, that was my things. There were two reasons. It was either because people just wanted to use their inventions to conquer and control other people, or it was because they tried to give the inventions to societies and those societies said no. And us, instead of, again, we didn't have probably as fancy of technology to be able to go and do that. And I think it's probably just the people abusing their power and their inventions to conquer other people. But it could have been that you went up to a society and be like, "Hey, you want to try out the light bulb?" And they're like, "No." And then you're like, "Oh, can I ask your neighbor if they want to try out the light bulb?" And they're like, "No, can't ask my neighbor either." And then then you kind of have to be like, "Look, you can't uh, like." Like, you can't tell me I can go knock on your neighbor's door and see if they want a light bulb just because you don't want a light bulb because you don't want to give me anything for the light bulb. Or it gets weird. It gets dicey thinking about how wars start, um, or why they started. But again, I think that humans have learned to harness this world beautifully. That if everyone can just I guess follow the 10 Commandments. And as cheesy as that might sound, um, and learn to treat others the way that you would want to be treated. And like I said, if the society can start being more productive, like again, I picture in every hotel room, every stadium, every room in every building having, a little hydroponic UV light garden in it. How beautiful would that be? And we wouldn't have to that would be our jobs. That would be our jobs as humans, because that was our job as humans for the past however many centuries, was to grow food, take care of animals. If everyone had a little chicken coop in their house, and then we would have so much more free time to go out and really enjoy sports. There'd probably be there's gonna be a jillion more probably sports teams in the world. Like, multiply what there is now times like 10, and being able to go enjoy concerts, we'd have so much more free time. And and picture how big, like you see how big these grocery stores are now. I picture them like 10 times bigger, because if everyone in your whole damn town or city is growing fruits and chickens in their and goats in their damn house, and they're taking that meat to the, you picture how much more productive the society would be. So that's all I got. I hope you enjoy this. I'll just, get my feelings out there, because I deal with a lot of negativity in my life, as far as, and even depression, just because, I feel like I'm not doing enough. Or I get so many people telling me, you gotta, go to school for 4 years to be a doctor, or you gotta spend all this money or spend all this time, when I know, in fact, I could literally just, if I was allowed to just sit behind the shoulder of a doctor for however long, like I feel like I could do surgery now, just like with steady hands and like knowing, arteries this and bones that. Um, if I had someone instructing me how to do a surgery, I could probably do one. Like because I don't think I would get squeamish or anything like that, especially if I knew I was helping a person. Or yeah, it just as far that's like I said, I get a lot of people telling me I can't do this or I can't do that. It gets old. It gets really old hearing people say that. It comes from, or yeah, I've had family telling me I can't do things. Oh, there's no way. You're not smart enough. You're not. Like, yeah, I know enough. I know enough. And it's not. Do I think I need to probably go to 4 years of school just to learn how to correctly dose someone for a surgery? No, it's probably in a book already. If this person weighs this much, you make them wait this long, then you can dose them properly. Um, that which would take you like a minute to look up. Like, oh, okay. Or do I know how to make the medicine? No. Would it probably just be in a little book somewhere how to make, what is that? Anesthesia. It's probably not that difficult to make. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. Um, but anyway, like I said, I mean, shit. I got, I get, and just the amount of envy I run into. Uh, I had recently. I had a coworker. Again, this 50-year-old man. God rest him or whatever. I hope he finds happiness. Threatening to kill himself with me in the car. Like I shouldn't have to be fucking dealing with that type of shit. Like that's a grown ass man. That's a dude twice my fucking age. He was supposed to be teaching me how to do my job. Instead, he's driving me off property, threatening to kill himself with me in the car. I'm like, dude, I just fucking met you, and this is all because some chick or something. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day.